People ask me all the time, what is gender gap? So I thought I'd give you a quick story within my time frame of 3 minutes as to what it is. I spent the last 10 years as a headhunter, wandering around Asia, marching the streets of Hong Kong and Singapore. I put people into very senior jobs in investment banking, fixed income, equities and funds management. And I noticed during my time that technology had changed the way people behave. You could order a basket of equities through your iPhone. But if you walked down the corridor 100 yards, which I did many times at a trading floor, and you hit the back office of the HR division, technology had never reached that far. And if you asked the head of HR how many top performing women had left your business within the last 12 months, they wouldn't be able to answer quite so quickly. If you asked them what was the impact on revenue as a result of that, people wouldn't be able to answer you. And I had an epiphany that workforce analytics needed to change, and there was a huge demand for the services that we decided to build. The answer I used to get from people was, we just don't have the data. The truth was, people had the data, it just wasn't correlated correctly. It's hard to be relevant as a head of diversity or a head of HR when you're not correlating things to revenue. While software spend on risk management systems have been spent into the hundreds of millions, HR remained in spreadsheets. Cynical middle managers were pushing back on the topic of diversity. How could you push back harder? Meantime, every newspaper I picked up around the world, in every airport I traveled, was talking about diversity. Every book I saw was written by Sheryl Sandberg. There was no doubt a business case, and people spoke of it. The value of having different opinions around a table. We all knew if you put your hand on your heart, there was more. There was a better way to treat women within an organization or any people of difference. So how could you do this differently if you had a blank sheet of paper? So I decided to leave my career in headhunting and form a software business. And I made this business here in Hong Kong. I brought together a group of investors and raised money to create this software company. And the people who built the software for me, I found them in video gaming. People who design games like Grand Theft Auto. And the reason I did this was, when you play a video game, when you zoom in and out to a soccer pitch or a car that you're about to steal, the data is being correlated. And that's what was needed in this event. So we built a company called Gender Gap, and really it's about data correlations. The way to engage middle managers in a business is to start by talking about how much money do you make in every single market, and how many people are leaving those businesses, and how many of those are top performing people, and how many of those are top performing women. Better data leads to better discussion. If you don't have good data, there will not be a discussion. In 12 months, we've opened 5 offices. We've been invited to speak at the World Summit of Women in Paris. Our team believe this is a game changer. By simply giving people access to better software, what's bigger than that is we think we can drive some social change. I'm going to finish by telling you a very quick story of something my dad told me when I was a boy. And that was of a man climbing a mountain. And he'd been climbing all day long. And just as he was focusing on the top of the mountain, he lost his footing. And he slipped. He slid down the side of the mountain. But he reached out and he grabbed a tree. And he said, he wasn't a religious man, and he said, "Dear Lord, if you can hear me, get me out of this, please. What do I do?" And he heard a voice. "I can see what's going on here, son. Just let go." And the man said, "Is anyone else up there?" Ladies and gentlemen, real leadership is about courage. It's about faith. I call upon all of you to have the faith to call on the data and look at it alongside revenues and bring this discussion where it belongs, which is center stage.